Good morning, everyone. So welcome back, guys. So today is our day 8 session. So before we proceed with that, so let me first wish you a very happy Dhanteras. So in India, we celebrate Dhanteras right today, and I wish all of them to get success in your life. Okay, so happy Dhanteras one more time. And anyhow, guys, this week, next week, coming week is India. A lot of festivals are going on, right? On Monday onwards, the Diwali festival starts, and 2 to 3 days, most of us will be busy. So I will not be taking any class on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday because it's a festival season. So I would request all of you, please give most of your time to your family and enjoy this festival very well, and and also make sure that you spend good time with your family members by celebrating this festival. So thank you, guys. So let us start today's discussion, guys. So today is a day 8 session. Okay, let me type it. Today is day 8 session. And guys, as you know that we are continuing with the Linux itself. I would say that another 10 more sessions I will take to complete this Linux, right? And I will be adding few more extra stuffs in this Linux so that we will try to gain some very important topics, right? Whatever is there, right? I'm trying to cover all those things in our Linux part. So today is a day 8 session, and today the date is 18th of your October 2025, and today is Saturday weekend, and and the timing is morning 9:07 a.m. IST. So all these things, guys, whatever, as I said earlier also, all these are Indian standard timings which I will be mentioning in our class notes. Okay, guys. So firstly, I have shared the drive to all of you. So you can go through it. If suppose somebody who don't, sorry, have not got the drive, please let me know. Pankaj has already told me that he has not got it. I will be sharing very soon the drive to him. And other people also, please check from your end whether you got it or not. So in the same drive, guys, I will be keep uploading the everyday's videos, whatever the recording we do. If not today, suppose if I take up the class and if I record it tomorrow, if in case if I'm not able to upload it today, definitely early morning tomorrow I will try to upload it. Okay, so that you will be able to get the video as soon as possible, and also the class notes and everything. I will be uploading the PDFs and all. So give me some time, guys. By end of the day today, I will upload a lot of PDFs, articles, documents, inter-question answers, as I said earlier, and some of the dumps, very good dumps for you to crack the crack the certification. All such things I'll be uploading to you, and also I will guide you how to go through it, which are the most important PDFs or articles you have to start reading it. Okay. Some of you have asked me about the Linux also, sir. Please provide us the Linux PDFs documents. I will try to upload everything today itself. Okay. Now, so before we start with the day 8 session, let us see what we try to cover on the day 7 session, that is yesterday session. Sorry. Okay. So guys, in yesterday's session, we started with something on the process level. What exactly a process? As I said, process is a running instance of a program in memory. We call it a process, or a program in execution. We call it a process. So whenever a user want to execute any task, right, he executes any task or anything with the help of commands. So commands are most important thing in Linux. So we always try to achieve any kind of execution of a program with the help of a command itself. So commands are very much mandatory. There are more than 1500 plus commands are there, but we need not to learn everything because it is not really required. So whichever the most used commands, like some 40 to 50 commands, I feel like every DevOps engineer should know. Every DevOps engineer should have at least minimum 50 to 40 to 50 commands on hand so that he can comfortably work on the system. Okay, and that you will not get through by hearting, that you will get through only through practicing. Every day you use that command, every day you try to go to the manual page of that command, see what are the other options are there, see how that options can be used in your real-time work when you're working on. Okay, and also most of the commands, guys, you will get to know when you're working on the project. Some of the commands you're not aware, you'll Google it out, you will get all those commands. Some of the packages which you're not aware, you'll try to install those packages in your system, get the commands, work on it. Some of the configuration files are required, you try to install some package, you'll get the configuration files, you edit that configuration file, restart some kind of a services, and then you'll get all those features what you needed. So somewhere or the other, what happened when you work on a project level, what happened, right, you will get to know better about the system, about the package management, about the commands and everything. but minimal. As like I log into my Linux machine, I want to operate and I want to work, minimum some 20-30 commands are usually required by day-to-day activity, right? So we need to do know all those commands, and the same commands, even it is also used in real time also. So whatever we are doing it today, some people will ask, Rajesh, is it something a real time which you are talking, which you are discussing? Sir, everything is real time only, sir. There's nothing like a what do you mean by real or non-real, or what is mean by fake. Whatever we are discussing, everything, it's all real time in the company itself. We do work on all these things. So we, of course, we work on all the project. We work on so many tasks. Obviously, all these commands are used, right? And whatever we discuss, tools, technology, everything is the same part of the same real world only. There's nothing like a fake, or there's nothing like, okay, Rajesh, if any training is goes on, whether that training is a real time or is it? It's not like the real time, guys. It's everything the same. Actually, in industry, what they happen, the same thing they try to teach in the class. It's not only me, any trainer or any institute you see that they try to teach what is going on in industry. So never ever have that kind of a confusion in mind, Rajesh. You will teach any real time projects or in some whatever we do, everything is a part of our work only, guys. Okay, remove all those clutters from your mind. Some people ask, Rajesh, whatever the AWS you teach, whether it's a real time, it's all real time only, sir. We what we are learning is real time only. Okay, fine. So apart from this, guys, what are the other things we discussed? We just started with the commands. I think yesterday we didn't really went much into it. Right. Today we are going to learn the commands. Right. Today. So before we try to learn the commands, in yesterday's class, I said that we will be learning something about the file system, and also we'll try to learn the types of files, and then we will go with the commands. So most probably, guys, this would be our today's agenda, today's topic. Okay. Now, so in yesterday, I told that what is a file system? File system is a software, guys. So file system software will take care of managing all your files and data. It means that whenever you take any disk, any raw disk you take, you format that disk. When you format the disk, that formatting means you're freshly creating a file system onto that. It is something like if you take a disk, actually, if you take something like a plate, on top of the plate, you try to keep something. You try to keep something, and that is something like a layer, actually. And that layer is nothing but it is nothing but your file system layer, actually. It's a software layer. And in Linux, it is ext4, ext5 file system, eraser file system, okay, generaling file system, journal, journal file system. So many file systems are used in Linux, but ext5 is a default file system. ext5 is a default file system. It means that if you take any Linux distribution, you will get to know about all the file system which is there in Linux, which provide that the distribution which provides is ext5 only. Okay, and this extended ext file was actually it was written by a person by name Remy Card. He is a guy actually who had designed this extended file system for Linux. Okay, Remicard and something Van Davidson. This is these two people that designed this extended file system. Okay, now guys, so what uh, Linux or Unix follows? Linux or Unix follows a inverted tree structure manner. Inverted tree structure. So what do you mean by inverted tree structure? See, always what happened, right? So you know that we have a tree, right? Generally, if you see the tree, what the tree has the roots at the below the ground, and after that, after out of the from after the ground, you will see that strong trunk is coming, and the trunk has lot of branches and a lot of other sub branches, and that sub branch will be having a lot of leaves, or else you will see that it has a lot of fruits also, right? That is like a tree structure. If you try to make it ulta, you try to make it inverted, it means that the root will become at the top, and the below branches and all those leaves, fruits and all will become at the lower. So your Linux follows the inverted tree structure manner. Now, in an inverted tree structure manner, what happened, right? They say that slash is the ultimate parent directory, we say, or it is the ultimate root file system, RFS, root file system. Okay, so it means that your file system in Linux or in Unix, okay, it starts with a slash. It starts with the slash. Rest all the other part, whatever the other files and data structures are, everything will be a part of slash only, below the slash. Okay, so something like this. I think yesterday also I have drawn it. I'm just telling you again that, like this is a slash actually. This is something like a forward slash. We use this forward slash, right, for to represent the file system. This, this is the RFS, root file system. It's a RFS, root file system. So below the slash, guys, here like this, you have a lot of directories like this. So what are those directories you have? You have a Dave directory. Okay, you have a SBin directory. You have a bin directory. You have an etc directory. You have a var directory. You have a usr directory. Okay, and I will continue here, guys. Don't worry. Var directory. What are the things you have, guys? You have something like a temp directory. Okay, you have something known as a MND directory, OPT directory, sys directory, init directory. What are the other things you have? You have something known as a earlier it was you have a media directory. Okay, you have something known as a root directory and home directory. These are some of the directories which do exist under the slash. It means that under your slash, all these directory structures are there. So now you could see that, Rajesh, what is actually slash? As I said, the slash is a parent file system. It means that your file system basically it starts with the slash. So the entry point of the file system will start from the slash. So slash is the ultimate parent directory. So we'll say that, Rajesh, after the slash, what is a nothing, sir? Nothing. So if you try to do you try to get into the slash, it means that you are actually part of the slash. Now, who has an access to the part of the slash? While installation, guys, when you're creating a Linux, when you're trying to install the Linux, by default, a user will come, he called as a root user. He has, the root user has the access to the slash because he is a system admin. In Linux or in Unix, whenever you say root user, root is a system user. He is a super user, we say, right? And the root user or super will have an access to the slash. Okay, and the slash itself is a directory. It itself is a folder actually. It itself is a folder. It's a directory. It itself is a directory. So directory is something which can keep many of the files or many of the subdirectories. Like for example, in Windows, we know that actually we have something as a folder like that. I'll keep a folder name. But if you click on the folder, can you see there are so many files are there? So many other files, so many directories are there. So folder is something where, guys, it will keep a collection of lot of other files and lot of other subdirectories or subfolders, we say. Same thing, the file system itself will start with a slash. This itself is a directory actually. Okay. So Rajesh, why is it something? It's the person who designed this file system, guys. He thought that, okay, let us try to create the file system from the directory structure only. So that whenever anyone want to enter into the file system, he has to enter through the directory only. You cannot enter into any of the things through a file, but you have to enter through the directory only. That's how they designed it. Okay, the file system always starts with a directory because directory can keep many other files and many other subdirectories. That's what all these files or all these folders, what or all these directories are inside this slash directory only. Now, right. So it means that, Rajesh, whenever you want to access any disk, suppose, Rajesh, I have a hard disk. This is my hard disk. This the hard disk has some file system into it. Let it be considered, let it has the ext3 file system or ext5 file system. I have one pen drive. This is the pen drive. This is the pen drive. This pen drive also has some file system. Consider that it is having a VFAT or NTFS file system. This is the Windows file system. NTFS file system. So the pen drive has an NTFS file system, whereas one hard disk has a ext file system. So how the Linux can access the content from these two devices? It can access the content from these two devices with the help of a file system itself. So this file system altogether, slash and all this belows, they can able to do any operation onto any of the file system which is there in some external devices. Rajesh, that the same thing happens even in Windows also. Suppose if I take a Windows, Windows has a default NTFS, but some other external drive or some external storage you are attaching to your server. So how it does an operation? Yeah, Windows has its own file system. That file system try to access all the files and data, everything in that external storage. It has that capability or it has that property to access it. Similarly, whenever we are working under the root file system of the Linux, this root file system of the Linux can mount any of the external devices. Let it be hard disk, let it be CD-ROM, let it be floppy, let it be pen drive, let it be any SCSI device, let it be some NAS storage, anything it can able to mount that device and it can access the data which is there in the device. So who does all those operations, guys? The file system will do all those operations. File system will also do a locally. It means that in your system, when I'm saving any file or directory, the file system will take care of creation of the file, creation of the directory, deletion of the file, moving of the data from one storage to other storage, okay, transferring the data from your RAM memory to the hard disk or from the hard disk to the RAM, okay, and changing the permission, giving the ownership for the files or the directory, okay, managing and maintaining all the files in a hierarchical structure. Everything that file system will take care. So what are the file system, guys? The file system, the file system, what are the operation of file system take care? Okay, it will try to provide the access to the file, to file or a directory. Okay, it means that you can able to create the file, you can able to delete the file, you can able to provide the permissions to the file. All such operations you can do. What is a hierarchical organization of your files and directories? Navigation. You want to do some kind of a modification. Retrieval of data. So all these operations, the file system take place. You take any file system, it is ext file system or ntf file system or adfs file system, hfs file system, nfs file system, special file system. You take any file system, every file system does all these minimal operations. Is it fine, guys? Now, navigation is something like you say that Rajesh, I want to get into some folder, where I will try to get some, look at some file. How you do it? You go to the my program, my computer, you'll go to the C drive, you'll go to the program file. See, you could see that your system is allowing, yeah, your system is allowing you to get inside the one folder to other folder, right? So from my PC, my computer went to the C drive, from C drive, we went to the program files, program file x86. From here, I went to something IAS or IAS Express. From there, I went to this file and finally I located this file. So you're able to provide, see, this is the path of this file. So IS express tray.resource.dll, this file exists under this path actually. So you're navigating so that you can able to reach to that position or to that place where the file exists. Same thing, who is doing all this operation, guys? Your file system software is doing. So file system software is allowing you to navigate to the path where you can locate that file or locate that directory. Modification, whenever you want to do any kind of a file permission change you want to do, or you want to change the ownership or whatever you want to do, you can do it because the file system will take care of doing everything. And finally, retrieval of data. Once you store the data into the disk, suppose you store your data into the disk or into the pen drive, you say that Rajesh, I want to access my same file, what I have stored in this disk or into this drive. How would I do it? A file system software will do, man. It will allow you to even extract or retrieve the data what you have saved in that disk. So file system will do so many operations, guys. So now you understand why file system is very much important and why this file system softwares are required, because without the file system softwares, a user cannot do any operation onto the disk. A file system has to be there onto this disk. When you have a disk means a file system software will be present inside this disk, onto the disk actually, so that a user can communicate with the disk actually. User in sense like not exactly user, the kernel or the operating system will do an operation onto that disk actually. And how it does all these operation onto the disk, you want to do some operation like you want to read the data, you want to open that data, you want to read that data, you want to write that data, you want to do all those operation of data, you want to do some operations. So who will does all those operation, guys? Your kernel will do all those operation, your operating system will do all those operations. How again the kernel will do all those operations? Because kernel has all the system calls. If you remember on the first day, as I said, right, there are some of the ways where a user can communicate with the kernel or with the operating system. One of the ways, system calls. So this system calls will make help to communicate with the device actually. So like for example, if I'm doing an operation onto a file system, I know that I want to use an open system call, read system call, write system call, mmap system call, IOCTL system call. Like that way, guys, there are hundreds of system calls are there pertaining to the file system only. So whenever you are doing operation on the file inside, the kernel is actually communicating with that file system, communicate with the device with the help of this file system, with this help of this system calls only. So we need not to really go into that much detail, guys, about what is system call, how it internal works, because it is not a job of the DevOps to understand in detail about all these things. We do not to do. Who want to know all these things? A system programmer, okay, a person who's working in the operating system level or the kernel level, who is working on the firmware level, he will be knowing all this in a very in detail actually. Okay, guys. So till here, any questions? Dipali, Ganesh, you have any questions so far? Karthik, anyone? I'm just taking random some names. Yes. So we need not to worry much about system calls and all, guys, but I'm just telling the kernel level, it does all the operations with the help of a system call only. Okay. Thank you, Ganesh. Fine, sir. Now we'll get back to now the actual thing. So the file system starts with a slash. It means that it is an entry point of the file system. So whenever the kernel it does operation on file system, it always starts with a slash. So that's an entry point. Okay. After that, what happened? You have so many folders or directories like Dave is there, media is there, bin is there, bin is there. So many folders are there. Okay, so now what I'll do, guys, let me log into the Linux machine. So this is my Linux machine which I have. You could see that I have not terminated that machine from yesterday. I just stopped that instance, and today morning before this last class starts, right, I just made that system again running. So you can either keep it in stop state, but again, as I said, right, because they've reduced the reduced the free tire for 6 months, from 1 year to 6 months. I would recommend that if you're not really practicing every day, or if you are not effectively utilizing that server for longer time, right, I would recommend you to terminate that instance rather than keep it in stop state. For me, just to save my time, right, I'm just keeping in a stop state. Otherwise, even I would have terminated that. Again, morning I would have created a new server, but that is fine for me. Okay. So now what I'll do, I will try to log into this machine. Now you know that, Rajesh, whenever I want to log in the machine, I want to have a public IP. Now, one thing, guys, whenever you stop the server and whenever you start the server, what you can notice one thing is that this public IP address will be keep changing. This will not be constant. So whenever you try to stop the server or whenever to stop and start it, right, whatever the previous IP address was there, it will get changed actually. Get changed because there will be a queue of public IP address from the free pool. Whenever you stop the server, it means that you are actually freeing that IP address, public IP address. So that IP address will be sent to the free pool which is available. And again, when you start it, immediately what happen, your system will get a new public IP. So we need not to worry about all these things now. Later we will discuss when you will start about the AWS class. But what you have to understand that you will get a new public IP address whenever you stop and start the instances actually. Am I clear, sir? Once again, guys. Okay. Thank you. So now let me log in. Guys, yesterday I told you that whenever you want to log in it, you have to always open the terminal. Okay, this is a terminal. So do a right click, run as an administrator, and then open it. Okay. Now, So here, one quick thing I want to tell you that if I go to my downloads folders, you could see that batch2.pem file is there. This is the key actually. This is the key actually. Some people ask, right, what is this key, sir? Okay. So there are two types of keys are there. One is called as a public key and other is called as a private key. So whatever this file which has been given to you or you have downloaded this file, that is batch2.pem in my case. Okay. This is nothing but your private key. Okay, so in AWS, you can able to login into the server with the help of a username and the key. Okay, so username is Ubuntu and the key is batch2.pem. Now, this pem and all, the pem file, whatever the .pem is there, the pem file, right? You can able to use your Windows terminal or else mobile xterm or else even super putty. You can able to log in into the server using this .pem file. But whereas a putty or the putty we say, this putty software, third-party software, you cannot log in with the PEM. Instead, what happened, you need to have on file as a .ppk file. Okay. Private means ppk means private PEM file it needs actually. PEM key it needs actually. .ppk. So what we have to do that, guys, basically .pem file, what you have, you need to convert convert this .pem file into the .ppk file. Convert to .ppk file. This is some extra thing you have to do. For that, what happened, right? You have one software, is a PuttyGen software. PuttyGen software is there. Now, if you see it here, you have puttygen.exe file. So why we have downloaded this software, this piece of software, because that we have to always convert from .pem to .ppk file. That's what we have this. Otherwise, it is not really required. Because here, this putty software, what we have, a putty.exe, it always expects a ppk file to be available, not pem file. Pem file, you cannot log in into Linux machine or into any other machine by using a .pem file. When you're using putty, you should have a .ppk file. But .ppk file, you can convert this file format from here to ppk with help of a putty gen software. So most of the organization, they don't use it actually, the putty and all, because when we practice in our laptop or in our personal systems, right, we do it. But in the organization, if you go, right, people, what they do, they try to install this mobile xterm or they try to use this Windows PowerShell or the Windows terminal, or they use even super putty to do it, because we always deal everything with the key .pem file key itself actually. So we don't have time to convert from PEM to PPK and then start using PPK and the putty. That people usually don't do it. Or else what we do in case of industry, we use something like a stager server actually. We try to build a stager server. Now, whenever you try to create any kind of a servers actually in the organization, what happened, right? You'll try to log into the first stager, and from the stager, you try to do SS to all other servers which you have. Suppose in organization, you have a dev environment, you have a stage environment, and you have a prod environment. And in the dev environment, you have hundreds of servers or few hundreds of servers. In stage environments, you have hundreds of servers. And even the prod also, you have hundreds of servers. So Rajesh, I want to log into any one of these servers or any of the servers. First, you log into a stager, sir. From the stager, you do an SS to any one of the server. It'll allow you to log in. You need not to give any kind of a key and all. Directly, you can log in with that username. It will allow you to do, because they have did a what they have did. They have did a full passwordless authentication. They have enabled, so that from the stager machine, right, you can able to log into any other machine of any of the environment, let it be dev, stage, test environment, you will be able to log in it. And who can able to log in? Who has a permission? Like DevOps engineer has a permission. He can play around with any machine, because he has built all these environments, all these servers, right? He will definitely have then access to all these servers. He can log in from the stager server. Now, what is a stager, Rajesh? How to configure it, everything? We will see in some time, not immediately. After some class, I will set up one staging server, and you can see that from the staging server, I can log into any other server. This is the actual practice what they do in the organization. It means that they'll not tell you that, okay, Rajesh, take this IP address, Okay, take this public IP address, okay, and try to log into the server with the help of some username by name Ubuntu and some key. They won't give like this directly to any engineers in the organization. What they do that, they will say, okay, we have added all your usernames and all into this all the servers. Please log into the stager servers, okay, and from the stager you can do access to any of this machine which you want to log in it. Like that only in the organization that it happens actually. Okay, in organization, don't expect that they will give a key to you or some passwords to you to log into that machine. No, they don't do. Guys, 1 second. Somebody has come. 1 second. I will just check. Hold on. हाँ राजीव भाई, लगता है ये आ गया मुझे, जेपी बैंक का कार्ड आ गया. So guys, I was applied for the JP Bank account. I think I got the card. That's what. So I got my first Japan bank account. Okay, sorry guys. Let us continue. Okay, so guys, any questions so far? Guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, sir, all good, all
Yes.
good.
Okay, so yeah, so this is how in the real time it happens. Okay, good. Now what I'll do that quickly, I'll try to create a ppk file from this putty.exe, puttygen.exe, so that I can able to log in even with help of a putty also. I can do that. So now what I will do that quickly will do it, sir. Will not take much time. So whenever I want to convert the PIM to the ppk file, okay, so I have to just launch this puttygen.exe. Just double click on it. It will open this. Okay, first what you have to do that you have to go to the key section. Here what happened, you could see that parameter saving for that key. If you click on this, you have to select the second version, not the third version. This is one small change you have to do, and then say okay. Once you say okay, then what happened, you have to just load it. Okay, load it. Okay, select all files, sorry, all files here, and then you can just click on this batch2.pem, open it. Okay, and then like save as a private key, save private key. Click on the save file. I'll say yes, and then locate the same file, PEM file. Instead of PEM file, give ppk file like this, ppk file, and then save it. Right? Can you see here now? I got one file known as a batch2.bpk file. Yeah, this is what the file I need, guys. I hope that you understood it, the process. If not, again, I will show you. Okay, let me delete this and show one more time. puttygen.exe, launch it, go to the key, and first set the parameter for saving, make it 2, and say okay. And now here you could see there's a load. Just click on this load. Try to uh, check in all files so that you can locate the batch2.pem. Click on this and say open, and say okay, and then save this file, whatever the content you have got. Now this is the content which is there. Save this as a private key, and I'll say yes, and again try to do on all file. Click on the batch2.pem because I need that file name, and then like instead of .pem, just give the extension as .ppk, and then save it. As soon as you save it, can you see you got this file? Right, and then you can close this. So this file exists, guys. With this file you can able to log into that server with the help of a putty.exe. Now how to do it? I will go and I'll try to copy the public IP of this machine. Open, launch the putty.exe. Okay, and then here you have to do a small change. Here you have to just write put ubuntu at the rate, give the public IP, and you could see that it is always opening the port number 22. This is for SSH. I have to use connect. I have to select the connection type as SSH. Do it. And now what are the other small settings which I'll do that? I'll just go with the Windows. Okay, here I have to give some big number. Let it here it will be like this actually, right? It'll be like this. So I would say that please give some extra zero so that you'll get a big the scrolling window big number. Okay, and then like appearance wise, click on the appearance, go to the change. You can even change the font setting also. Let me give 16. And if you want bold, you can select bold, or if you don't want, you can unselect the bold, or you can go with the regular. Okay, and then say okay. And colors, you can just say uh, use system colors. This would be unchecked. You have to just uncheck it out, right? After that, here what happened, right? Under the connection, guys, you have to go to the SSH. Here you have to go to the auth. Here you go to the credentials. Here can you say that private key for the authentication? Just browse it. Select this PPK file and open it. So now it means that while logging in, it will try to check where is a PPK file. So you have given the complete path like this, right? These are some settings you have to go. Again, you can go back to the session and you can just say open. You could see that accept the connection. You could see that you are logged into the system. This is the machine which are logged in. Is it clear, guys? Still here? So, guys, I hope that all of you will try this method. Yes. Yes, Karthik. Okay. Fine, guys. So you have logged into this machine. Okay. You can, if you want to do some other settings here, you could see that you can go and you can do a right click here and you can just change the settings. Like if I go to change settings and if I go to this keyboard, right? Or else if I go to this uh, what is it? Colors, or where is it? Behavior, where is it, man? Windows. Yeah, appearance. Go to the change, make it as a bold and say okay and apply. You could see that it got bold. So you can do the changes appropriately when you require it. Okay, now guys, coming back here with the diagram, we saw that the slash is a file system entry point, and below all these are directories actually. Let us try to understand what these directories are. We'll just try to discuss one line information. Okay, but in the upcoming sessions and all, we will be delving more into this entire data structure entries, or even entire into all these directories, so that we'll get to know better about what it have, what are the file contents which it has inside all these folders. It is very much important actually. Okay, now quickly we will try to mention all the details actually. So under the slash file system, so guys, you have something that Dave directory. Dave directory will have a device identifier files actually. It has some important files. Okay, like for example, character device files, block device files. So these are special types of files which are there in the Dev directory. Okay. So basically, whenever you want to communicate with any of the devices, like it be character device or the block device and all, you would find all those important files under the Dev directory. Okay. So like for example, under the slash dev, you have one file known as a TTY file, TTY1 file. Under slash dev, we have something as a PTS. Under slash dev, you have something like a null. Under slash dev, you have something like a SDA1 like this. These are the special types of files which are there in the under this dev directory. We don't really dwell much into it, but you have to just understand, okay, under the dev, there are some special types of files are there, which are called as a character device file or the block device file. Now, if you go over here, guys, if you go to the putty and if you see ls, can you see there is something like a dev is there? Yeah. If you get inside to the dev, can you see when you do an ls, can you see there are so many files are there like tty1, tty2, tty3, tty22, tty23, and also can you see something like a pts0, pts0, ptsc, pts, cd to the pts, enter and say ls. See, 0 is there, 1 is there, 2 is there, like that. Now, what I'm trying to say that all the special type of files, right? Like for example, character device file, block device files, those files exist under the dev directory. You could also see there is something called slash dev null, null, null file is there, null. Can you see here? N A B C D here. Now slash dev null, slash dev zero. Z-E-R-O. Where is Z, sir? Z-E-R-O. See, slash dev full, F-U-L-L. Where is F-U-L-L? Can you see F-U-L-L full? See, these are all the special types of files, sir. All these are character device file or the block device files. Okay. Now, yesterday in class, I told that every bash terminal, every bash shell is attached to a terminal, right? If I execute the TTY, can you see slash dev slash pts slash 0? Correct, guys? Slash dev slash pts slash 0, right? So, this is a special type of file actually. Now, if I try to do an ls-l long listing of slash dev slash pts slash 0, can you see here? It is showing me some entry. See, C means character device file. And it is a terminal. TTY is a terminal. This is the major number and this is a minor number. We need not to worry about all these things. What is major number, minor number? But this is a terminal. This is the entry actually. Or else you have to check what type of file it is. You can execute a command, type slash dev slash pts slash 0 and say enter. See, it will show as a uh, not type file command, sorry, file slash dev slash pts slash 0. See, it's a character device file. Similarly, if I do an LSI, if you come out from the PTS directory and say ls, can you see something like a loop is there? Can you see something like a VCS is there? Okay, so some of them are block device files actually. Okay, like for example, if I want to check what are the block device file, don't worry now. I'll just execute this command slash ls-l pipe it to grep cap of b. Say enter. See, these are all block device file. Can you see loop one, loop two, loop three, NVD, NPM? All these are block device files. B means block device files. If I try to run a file command onto the loop zero, right? It say that it's a block special file. And if I do an ls-l to loop 0, you will get some information like this is the block device file and the major number is 7, minor number is 0, and this is the block device. Now, all the special types of file which are used to communicate with the devices, let it be character device, block device, right? You need some kind of a special file system, and all those special files are residing under the dev directory. That's all you have to know. Apart from this, I don't think you need to understand or learn any other thing. This is what you have to learn. So Rajesh, who will use all these things? Your system will use all these things, man. All these files are used by your system only. Whether the user will also use, yeah, user also will use us many times, because when you are developing any drivers, right? When you try to design a driver, you know, whenever you want to test or verify the how the driver works, you can test and verify with the help of a special file only. Either it could be a character device or the block device. With the help of this only, you will be able to communicate with the device driver. Krishna, Karthik, Pankaj, Rajiv, any questions you have, guys, about this?
No, Rajesh, it's clear actually.
Okay, good. So we learned something. There's a command, the file command. With the help of file command, I'll be able to tell what is the type of file it is. See, and yesterday I showed you I created so many files, right? Directory I created. With the help of a touch command, I create these files. If I run a file command onto the Mahesh, see, it will show it's a directory actually. So file command will tell you the what type of file it is. Okay. So dev is fine. What are the other things, guys? We'll quickly go through it. So next is nothing but your etc directory. Etc directory contain all the configuration file, all system level configuration files exist under the etc directory. Okay, and most of the file ends with the .conf as an extension. Okay. So guys, now here, now I am into the Linux machine, guys. As soon as you log in into the Linux machine, by default, it will take you to home directory of that user. If I execute a pwd command, can you see slash home slash Ubuntu? So it is taking me to the home directory for the Ubuntu. Whenever I want to shift or whenever I want to get into any of the folder or the directory, we don't call it as a folder in Linux, we call it as a directory. So let us try to fix the word as a directory. Okay. folders and all, that is concept in Windows actually, right? But both are same. Folder or directory, if I say, everything is one of the same. There's no difference. But we never call here in Linux or in Unix, we never call it as a folder. We call it as a directory, or we call it a directory entry, we call actually. When you do an ls, can you see there's a Mahesh, Raju, Ravi is there? Yeah. So whenever I want to get inside the Mahesh directory, I have to always use a cd command to get inside the directory. So when I exit pwd now, can you see under slash home Ubuntu, under that there was a Mahesh, I went inside the Mahesh folder. Okay, good. Now, whenever you want to come out from that directory, guys, you have to always use cd dot dot. Cd dot dot will take you to the parent directory. It will take you to the previous directory where you were staying. So previous directory is Ubuntu only, right? From here, you went inside the Mahesh by using cd. But whenever you want to come out from that directory, you have to always use cd dot dot. So these things you have to always practice, guys. So when you come out from the cd directory, again, if you exit pwd, can you see you came back here. Now you'll say that Rajesh, from the Ubuntu, I want to go back to the home. No problem, sir. Do cd dot dot enter and say pwd. See, you have come out. Rajesh, from the home, I want to come out. I do a cd dot dot entry and say ls. And I'll say pwd. Oh, it means that Rajesh, as per the diagram, here, as per the diagram, you were there under the home, and under the home, you were there under under home, you are there under the Ubuntu. Under Ubuntu, you are under the Mahesh. Now you came out from the Mahesh, you went to the Ubuntu. From the Ubuntu, you come out, you went to the home. And from the home, you came out, you went to the slash. And from the slash, can you go out? Let's see whether I'll go out. From the slash, I want to go out. cd dot dot. You will never go out from the slash, guys. You will always be there only. Even though you do cd space dot dot, you will not go, because that is an end actually. It means that actually your file system start with the slash. You cannot go out of from the slash. You'll always be a part of the slash. You'll always be a part of the slash. Yeah. cd hyphen will take you previous, man, because it toggles it. Say for example, now you could see that who asked me this question? Somebody ping me. Once again, who pinged it? Yeah, Karthik pinged it, cd hyphen. Okay, just interesting to know it. See, you are under the home directory slash home Ubuntu. Assume that I went to some path like this: USR, SRC, uh, Linux, AWS, something. If I execute PWDC, right, you are into this path actually. Okay, include Linux. See, if I execute PWDC, you are under this path like this. But Rajesh, from where I navigated, right? For example, if I do if I execute pwd, you are under slash home Ubuntu. Suppose you directly are going like this: USR, SRC, Linux, AWS. Okay, include Linux, enter, and say pwd. So you are under path. Suppose you said that Rajesh, I want to go back to slash home Ubuntu. You just say cd hyphen and say enter. See, you go back to the your previous directory. Again, you do a cd enter, you will go back to this path where you came. See, you can toggle between these two paths by the help of a cd hyphen. Am I clear, Karthik? Right? It will maintain the latest entry of all those paths which you navigated. So the cd hyphen will toggle between the two previous paths which you which you went on. Okay, good. Now, so let me go back here so that I'll be under Ubuntu. So that's how, guys, whenever you want to do outside, when you want to come out from the outside of the directory, you have to use cd dot dot and come out, and you can enter. You can come out from the directory. Okay. Now, so okay, so now under etc directory, now what happened, right? I will go to the slash and I'll say ls and I can go to the etc like this. So guys, when you're already aware that Rajesh, under the cd slash enter and say ls, I have an etc. Why don't I directly go to like this slash and then say etc? Yeah, you can go like that. Don't do like that. Okay, Rajesh, let me go for slash like this, how you're doing, and then do an ls and then go to the etc. Don't do like that, because now you're aware that, okay, etc is there under slash. Directly do a cd to etc and then say enter and say ls. So now you could see that, as I said, most of the file is ending the .conf or .config actually like this. These are system level configuration files. So whenever you want to manage or manipulate, or whenever you have a control over your operating system and you want to do a lot of changes in your operating system, everything, you can do all those things with the help of these configuration files. So so for example, user management configuration files. server level configuration files, network level configuration files. So you can do all those operations, guys, with the help of this under the ETC. So whenever you want to do a lot of changes to your network, whenever you want to do, whenever to set up a firewall, whenever to set an IP address, you can do everything with the network configuration files which exist under this ETC directory. Similarly, you want to configure any server like DNS server, NFS server, NIS server, Squid server, Samba server, Mail server. You can do configure anything with help of a your server level configuration. Similarly, you want to do user management. You want to create an account, you want to delete an account, you want to give some permission to the users, you want to create a sudo user. All those operations which is related to the user management, you can do all those under the etc directory. Etc directory contains all those configuration file for of your entire system only. You can able to better manage. So whenever a person who is having very in-depth knowledge under the ETC and its configuration file, he is in turn understanding the whole Linux system itself, the whole Linux operating system itself. He will understand because he has a knowledge of the configuration. He has gone through all the configuration files. He know how to manage all the system with the help of the configuration files. It means that he indirectly knows all the information about the Linux system itself. So usually system administrator will have the lot of knowledge or the information under the etc directory folder because he'll be playing around with all those configuration files which are there under the /etc folder or /etc directory. Am I clear, sir? This is one line information, but later we will try to dig as much as possible when it is required for us. Okay. Third is something like you have a bin, and I'll try to even take SBin. So bin is a folder, not folder, sorry, bin is a directory which all commands exist, all normal user command exist, right? SBin is a folder where the super user like root user commands exist. So guys, in Linux actually you have types of users. Actually, one is a normal user and other is a system users and the last one is a root user. Normal user is something where when you try to create any normal users like Rajesh, Mahesh, Suresh, right? All these are all called normal users of the system, right? Usually we create it. System users are something where the system or the operating system uses those system users. Router is just something like he is a super user or he is a system admin. Okay, there's one more user is there. We call the pseudo users. We will see that also. Okay. Now, system user, normal user, I know Rajesh. I know even the root user because root user is something who logs in system. He is a system admin. He can do anything. So what about the system user? So guys, there are so many users are there which are related to system itself. It means that when you are installing an operating system, at that time only the systems users are created. They're used by your system or your operating system or your kernel only to do many of its operations. Like for example, under the under etc only, there is a file by name just see what I'm doing, etc PSSWD, passwd file, and say enter. Now you could see that there are so many users are there. Like for example, here, daemon user, bin user, sys user, sync user, game user, man user, LP user, mail user, news user. These are all the system level users, guys, actually. Syslog user, systemd network user, okay, and there is something as a Ubuntu user. Ubuntu is a normal user. So Ubuntu is a normal user here, okay, whereas other apart from this, all other users which you are seeing it here, all are system users. And of course, root user is also sitting here. See, he's a root user at the top. Root user is there. Now, who uses this, Rajesh? Whether as an end user, can I use this username, user accounts? No, sir, I cannot use it because it is used internally by the system or the operating system itself. We don't have a control on these users actually. That's what you could see that. If you carefully see that bin user, daemon user, they're having something or the slash user has been no login. It means that you cannot log in with this user. Can you see it? We'll elaborately describe about all these fields, but just by seeing something, you're able to understand, okay, this is a user, but you don't have a login permission. He cannot log in it, right? Actually. Whereas a Ubuntu user, when he logs in, he will get a bash shell. Yeah, I'm getting a shell. Root user will also get a bash shell. What about other user? There is nothing like a bash here. There is something like a slash user has been no login. Oh, there is no shell itself, man. He cannot log. He cannot get a shell only while logging in. So he is a no login user. It means that you won't get the shell at all to log in it. Now, who are all those users? These are all system users. Now, if I'm just saying, I'll just see what I'm doing. I'll just say CD. I'll just say CD, and I'll use this tilde symbol, and I'll use tab. Can you see here, guys? See, if you go through it, can you see there? You saw something as a games. Where is it? You saw something like a sync. You saw something like a bin. You saw something like a WW data. You saw something like a backup. Rajesh, do you have anything like this? See, sys is there, games is there, bin is there, daemon is there, TCP dump is there, UID, WW-data is there. So whenever you are seeing anything like this tilde symbol along with this, you have to consider it as a user. Rajesh, where is Ubuntu user, man? Can you show me? UBUNTU. Here it is. There. Rajesh, can you show me where is a root user, man? ROOT. See, can you see it? So this tilde symbol say that these are all the users actually. So what I did, guys, how do you display it? You have to say CD tilde, and you have a tab key, right? You have to press tab twice. You will get like this. Okay, Rajesh, it means that under the Linux machine, right, you have this many number of users. Normal user are there, sudo user is there, which we'll discuss later. System users are there, as well as a root user is also there. Okay, fine. Now, what this bin directory say that, Rajesh, whenever any user, he might be a normal user, he might be a root user, or he might be sudo user. Anyone who want to execute the commands, he can execute all the commands which are there in the bin directory. Okay, good. Now, whenever any command which has to be executed only by the root user or the sudo user, all those commands are there in the sbin directory. Sbin means super bin directory. This is nothing but the binary data trace. This is a super binary data trace. So we'll go back here. And if I do a CD to slash one more time, enter and say ls, can you see there is something as a bin directory and there is something like an sbin directory. But you are thinking that Rajesh, this is something like a blue it is showing. Fine, I understand it's a directory. But what is this color, man? This is something like a light sign in green color it is displayed. Let us see, man, what is it? If I do an lsf and l bin, enter, can you see? It is a soft link to the user bin directory only. It is like a shortcut. LSFNL slash sorry S bin. See, it's a shortcut to USR S bin directory. Oh, it means that Rajesh, under this USR directory, there is some directory by name bin directory. In that, all the commands are there. Yes, sir. Under USR S bin directory, there are so many commands are there which is done by S bin, which are only super user can execute it. So, can I get into this directory, Rajesh? Yes, sir. Go ahead. CD USR slash bin and say ls. Enter and say ls. See, you will see all these commands which are there. Most of the commands, guys, are all having execute permission. That's what you will see in this green color actually. Whenever you give an execute permission for the file, right, it will turn into green color. So you could see that many of the files are in green color. Many of these files are in a signing color, which is not, it is a shortcut or it's a soft link preset, right? Okay, all these commands, what you're seeing under the bin directory, guys, all these commands and everything can be executed by the normal user and even can be executed by the root user and even by the sudo user. Forget about the system user. System user doesn't actually interact with all these commands. It internally used by your operating system. You need not to really worry about the system user as of now. You can keep it separately, and we are not even discussing anything about system user because we don't use it actually. We don't manage it and we don't use it. So don't worry about any system user. Only you have to worry about the normal user, root user, and sudo user. So bin directory is a one where all the commands can be executed by all the users. We're not discussing about the system users. It means that all these three users, these. Whereas an SBin directory is a directory where only the super user or the root user and the sudo user, only these two users can only execute all those commands within the bin SBin directory. So we'll go back here, and if I go, we'll say cd dot dot enter, and if I say cd to sbin and say ls, so these are all the commands which are executed only by the root user or the super user only or the sudo user only. Am I clear, sir, with this? Any questions so far? Okay, Rajesh, it means that whatever I execute, okay, some commands are there in the bin directory, some commands are in the sbin directory. Sbin is a directory where only the root user and the sudo user can execute those commands. And bin directory is one where all users, let it be root user, let it be a super user, let it be normal user, let it be a sudo user, anyone can execute all the commands within the bin directory. Okay, why they have did like all these things, Rajesh? Why don't they have only one folder where they can keep all the use all the commands? Guys, you have to distinguish between the normal user and the super user, right? You cannot tell that okay, all the commands can be executed by all the like you cannot say that all the commands can be executed by everyone. 1 second, man. 1 second, guys. हाँ पंकज भाई. हाँ हाँ क्लास ले रहा था अभी. क्या वो लंच पे जा रहे हो क्या आप? 1:30 बज रहा है. 12:30 1:30 भाई मैं तो थोड़ा बिजी रहूंगा 2:30 तक. आप हो जाओ लंच आज. आज एक दिन फिर कल हम लोग लंच पे जाते हैं. नहीं तो रात को चलें क्या डिनर पर? फाइन. अभी आप क्या करोगे, घर पे लंच बनाओगे या गो आउट? ठीक है भाई, आप बना लो. आज एक दिन एक्सक्यूज दो, कल से हम प्लान करेंगे. श्योर श्योर, थैंक यू भाई. आई कम डाउन आफ्टर क्लास. Oh, sorry guys, I didn't mute only. So, so this is something guys, why they have did like this, because they want to keep a separate folder where only the super user, root user and the sudo user can execute. They don't want to mix everything guys. And whenever your normal user executing, here I can execute only those commands which are there in the bin directory. Normal user cannot go and execute any of the commands under which is there in the bin directory. No, he don't have the permission. Like Rajesh, Mahesh, Suresh, they don't have permission to execute all the commands in bin directory. That's what they've segregated these commands into two different folders actually. Right? Otherwise, they would have kept everything in one only. That would have made little difficult for the user management purpose. Right? That's what they create separate directory. One is called as a bin and the other is called as an SP. Right? Good. Now, so apart from this, guys, we'll quickly get into the other things, right? For example, user directory. Like whenever we are installing any package in Linux, like for example, RPM package in Linux, or anything, right? All the packaging, everything, whenever you install it, it will go and it will sit under the user directory. So all the package libraries, okay, or libraries, APIs, and some kind of configuration files, all these files, everything will go and sit under the USR directory. USR calls a Unix system reservoir. Whenever you're installing any kind of a package or a software, that software or the package will go and install under the USR directory. In case of Windows, when you install any package, when you install something like a with the help of a Windows installer, or right, when you install it, or else if you try to install directly .exe file, right? So where it will go and sit it, you have to say where you're going to sit it. It will go always sit and go under the C drives program files, right? Program files is a folder where all the files, everything will get installed over there in the program files. Then only what happen, you will get that particular feature of that software, right? Similarly, in Linux or in Unix, when you try to install any kind of a packages, where the package will get installed in a system, it actually goes to the USR directory. Okay, fine. Now, apart from this, guys, what are the things you have? You have some important things like, for example, var directory, all your system logs, nothing but your kernel logs, service logs, okay, application server logs, okay, even a normal user logs, all sits under the var directory. Okay, whenever you want to check the system logs, you have to execute a command as a dmessage command. So when I execute the dmessage command, when I execute the dmesg, so it will show you the system log. So guys, this doesn't have a permission. I have to always use a sudo command dmessage. Enter. So this will show you all the system logs. Sudo dmessage command. Okay, good sir. Now, so guys, whenever you get any doubts, please unmute and ask it. Okay, I'll be quickly going into the thing. So if you have any doubts or if you're not understanding, please interrupt and ask me the questions. Okay, I will repeat it also. Plus, I will try to make you explain in a better way so that you will be able to understand in a better way. So my object is for you all to make you understand, guys. Okay, if you're not understanding, please interrupt me in between and ask the doubts. That's my humble request. Okay. And what are the other things you have? You have one more important thing is the lib directory. Lib directory is something like you have, as the name says, lib, right? It has all the libraries actually, right? It has all the libraries. So guys, in Linux actually or in Unix, all the libraries are in a .so extension. .so extension. Okay. So SO means it is a shared object we say, or called as a shared library. Most of the libraries are in the .so, right? Like in Windows, we have a .dll, right? Dynamic linking library. We said DLL means dynamic linking library. Similarly, in Linux, we have something like .so actually, shared libraries actually. So most of the libraries, your system libraries or user level libraries, everything under there in the lib directory, as well as your lib also has the kernel models. All your kernel models and everything, right? Or the device driver model or kernel models are there under your lib directory, where you'll get under the lib slash lib slash lib uh, kernel like this include no slash lib. I've forgotten man actually. If you go inside the lib directory, so can you see slash lib models? Yeah, models. Under that you have a kernel version. Under that you have a kernel. Under that, can you see these are all? So this is the path, guys. Slash lib model. This is the path, guys, where all your kernel models are there actually, or your drivers are there. I'm just writing here. So this is a path where all kernel models, or you can say the driver models are present actually. Say for example, if you say Rajesh, I want to check the file system models, FS. If you go to the FS directory, file system and say ls, can you see there are so many models are there, guys? Can you see there's something NFS model? Yeah, NFS file system model, right? Can you see something like a FAT model? Yeah. So these are all some of the things which have been supported as of now. You can even install many other file systems also, it will support it actually. So if you go to any one of these file system like NFS, if I go to it, right, NFS, network NFS and say ls, can you see nfs.ko? Right here you have again on some of the things nfs.ko.zis, nfs.ko, like you have so many other models are available. Or else if you go to the fat, you will see that if you come out from that fat, if you come out from nfs, go to the fat and say ls, you have ms.ko models there. So this all these models are having .ko.zst as an extension. This will say that these are all the kernel models, or these are the drivers we say actually. Like this, what happened if you come out from the FS, and if you see, this is the networking models, sound models, like drivers actually, cryptographic model, architecture related models. All these models will be there under part of this path only. Okay, or else Rajesh, directly I'll go to the lib directory, lib, and just check. So you could see that, guys, there are so many, as I said, right, all the .so shared libraries are there under this path actually. So all your system related libraries, whatever you want it, you will get everything to the lib directories. In the real time, we don't really touch this lib directory that much actually. Okay, we don't really touch it. No DevOps engineer will do it unless and until he's working on some project which are related to system level, right? The DevOps engineer, unless and until that thing doesn't come into his project, he will not touch this lib directory at all. Tomorrow, if we try to download any kind of a libraries and all, by default, this libraries goes and sit under the lib directory. He need not to do it anything. He shouldn't do anything manually. Everything by default happens when you try to install some package. As part of the package installation, some libraries are going and sitting, that will go and sit under the slash lib directory. Okay, fine guys. Now, so apart, okay, then what else you have? Very important guys, very quickly. One is a home directory. This is a home directory for normal user. So whenever a new user accounts are getting created, in case of in our system level, we have something like under slash home, there is something like Ubuntu user is there. So for the Ubuntu, slash home is a home directory. It means that whenever you create a user accounts, by default, what is the like home directory he's going to get is slash home. Suppose if I try to create Rajesh as a account, I will get a under slash home, I will get one folder by name is Rajesh. Slash home, Mahesh, Suresh, like that I'm going to get. So slash home is a home directory for a normal user account. Whenever you create any new user account, by default, he will get a home directory which starts with a slash home and then the folder name with that same name. So there, whenever a normal user logs into the system, he goes and by default sits under the slash home, uh, Mahesh or Rajesh, whatever the user which is logging, right? Like that. Okay, great, guys. There are other are there, like for example, OPT is there. It's an optional directory is there. Okay, where you can mount any external file system. Okay. What other things are? You have a sys, you have a proc file system. These are special file system. Okay. So like that way, many other folders are there. If I missed it also, guys, I will cover appropriately later in some part of in some session. I'm going to cover even that also. Right. So again, if I go back here, if I do a cd slash enter and say ls, you can see that there are all folders are there. Dave is there. Yeah. One thing which I missed is a boot directory. Very important. So boot directory will have a bootable files like your VM Linux image. Okay. LINUZ, initard image, even like your grub bootloader, even your kernel configuration files. Like the file is having it starts with the name like something like a config hyphen, something like this. So all these files, VM Linux image files, initard image files, grub bootloader, kernel configurations, everything will be there under the boot directory. If I do a cd to the boot and say ls, can you see here, guys? There is a system map file is there. There is a config hyphen some is there. There is an EFI is there. There's a grub is there. There's an initard image there, and there is a VM Linux image there. And of course, this is a grub. So this grub is nothing but it is your bootloader actually. So all your bootable files, all your image files, right? And also the kernel configuration files, everything does exist under the slash boot directory. Am I clear, sir? So other there are many other folders are there, guys. We need not to really worry as of now. Okay, what is run? You might ask, what is run? What is snap and all? At this point, SRV, don't worry about all these things. We will cover all these things in some time. So guys, once you have understood the whole file system in a very detailed level, like what USR has, what bin has, what SBin has, what Dave has, what boot has, you got some understanding about the whole file system concept itself. Okay, this is how it works. Okay, internally, how this file system helps a user to do any kind of an operation in a system, that also slowly we will learn one by one, right? But as of now, what you have to understand that this file system is a root file system which exists under the user space of the RAM memory. Whenever a RAM memory is given to two space, under the user space of RAM memory, your file system resides there on fly. It resides there, and whenever a user logs into the system, whenever he does an operation, he actually sits onto that file system only and he works actually. See, now the thing is that actually, see how nicely it looks like in the diagram now. So as soon as you boot up the system, right, you got the user space and the kernel space. And we know that Rajesh, kernel space is the one where your kernel will be up and running or your operating system will be up and running like this. Now what happened here in the user space, what happened? A file system will be there. Yeah, he'll be there, right? So file system will be there. This is your nothing but your file system will be there like this. Like etc is there, right? Boot is there, right? Home is there, right? Like this, many folders are there. Now what happened? Assume that this is the file system which is there in user space. Now what happened when a user logs into the system? He logs in. So how he logs in? He logs in with the username. In our case, what we did, we logged in the Ubuntu user and we logged with the .ppk file because this is the no private private key file, right? We got it right. We logged in. So where the Ubuntu will log in? Oh, under the slash, there's a home. Under the home, there is a Ubuntu user. or Ubuntu home directory. So here what happened? The Ubuntu user has logged in and he's sitting here actually. As soon as he logged in, what he will get, this Ubuntu user, he will get a shell actually. He'll get a shell like this. He'll get a shell. And what is that shell, guys? That shell is a default shell, which is a bash shell. See, this is how it happens actually. So literally this Ubuntu user will be sitting on a top. And what he does, he will sit here and is executing many commands. Like he will execute the ls command, he will execute the date command, something, he will be executing a program, he'll be running a program, he'll be doing many operations. So when he is actually executing any of the commands or everything, the bash shell will take care of communicating between that user to the kernel actually. Am I clear, sir? Now you understand what is the importance of the file system. Without a file system, a user cannot log in only. That is one thing. And you always, whenever a user logs in, he will become a part of that file system only because he want to do some operation onto the operating system. He has to be part of the slash. He want to be part of the file system. Without a file system, a user cannot do any operation at all. Okay. When a user logs in, he try to get a shell actually, and sitting on top of shell only, he will try to do any of the operation. And that shell will help the user to communicate to the kernel or to the operating system. If you have understood this much, guys, I think I can say that you have understood the system support in a better way. Guys, does it make sense to understand all these things? Krishna, Naveen, Pankaj, everyone?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Now
Yes, sir.
now, Rajesh, is the same thing in Windows? Is the same thing in any other operating system like Solaris operating system, IBM AX operating system? You have hundreds of operating systems. Is the same thing happens everywhere? Yes, sir. It's the same thing, sir. There's no difference actually. Okay, good. Fine, sir. Okay. Now, okay. Now, this is all fine. Good. We understood. Now, what is the next topic? Rajesh, let us try to understand what are the different types of files which are provided by the Linux or by the Unix actually. Okay, again, I am saying from now onwards, I will not use this word Unix because Unix is obsolete. We are not using, but still, some of the people who are very much traditional, who have been working for a long time in Unix and all right, they cannot get out from that mindset. Like me, who has worked on traditional Unix operating system, right? I have worked on SCO Unix, I have worked even on Solaris old boxes and all. I cannot get rid of from this, guys. That's what I'll be using Unix or Linux, Unix and Linux. But to the fact that actually Unix is not at all used in any organization now, so we can just obsolete that actually. Okay, we can obsolete means you can just forget about the Unix. But of course, we have learned many things from Unix because Linux is a derivative of the Unix operating system itself. So you cannot say that no, Unix is nowhere. Unix was designed by the person by name Dennis Ritchie and Ken Thompson, right? We cannot forget their contributions. Okay, but still, what happened, right? We can just obsolete because in today's world we are using either Linux or advanced Linux operating systems we are using, and you are using some real-time operating system. Yeah, we are into that generation, but we should not forget our roots also, right? So that's what I'll be saying Unix or Linux, Unix and Linux, right? But everyone talk about Linux itself nowadays, no Unix. Okay, now, so the Linux operating system, it supports a lot of different types of files. Types of files. That's the next topic now. So guys, you can create some six types of files in Linux, right? Those are nothing but the types of files. So normal files, we call even it as a regular file. We have something as a directory. We have something as a hard link files, soft link files, or we call it the symbolic link files. We have a file by name pipe file. We call it as a FIFO file actually. FIFO files we say. Okay. We have a socket file, and last is nothing but the carrier device or block device files. Not six, seven types of files are available. Apart from this, Rajesh, seven types of file, any other files are there? No, sir. All your files, you take any file, it fall under this seven types of file only. Most of the time, in a normal, like when we are working as a DevOps engineer, like I will be working on only on a normal file. I'll be working on a directory. I'll be working on a hard link or the soft link. About these files, like pipe file, socket file, or CAD device file, I don't use much in my real time. But yeah, for the knowledge sake, you need to have that knowledge, right? But what happened in the real time, we don't really work much onto this file. Hardly you can work on pipe file, and that also very rare. But these four types of files, definitely every day we will be interacting with these types of files. It could be normal file, it could be directory, it could be hard link, or it could be soft link. Even hard link also, we don't really create that much of hard links in the real time. But yeah, in some time we are given instruction to create these hard links files, we will create it, right? Most of the time soft links are definitely used. Soft links is always required when you work on the project. So if I collectively, if I want to tell you that only we will always deal with the normal file, we'll deal with the directory, and we'll deal with the soft link. These are the three important files we will always try to use in our real time. Right, guys? Now, normal file or a regular file or the white file we can call it is like a normal file. It's like a text file what you have in Windows, right? Even in Linux also we play around with the files by creating a normal file only. So how do you create a file, normal file in Linux? Actually, there are so many commands are there. I use a touch command. I use something as a greater sign command to create a file. I can even create a file by with the help of a cat command. I can even create a file with the help of a head command, tail command, not head and tail, sorry. I can use what you call uh, less command, more command. I can even create a file with the help of a VI command. VI call it as a VI editor, Vim editor. Even you can create a file within the G edit also. So there are so many commands are there, guys, which we usually try to create a file. But usually in organization, we use either the touch command or a cat command, and of course the VA command. These are the three important commands we always use it for creating a file. But to be honest, we always use a touch command and we use a VA command. These are the most two important. Cat command we don't use for creating a file. Rather, we use it to display the content of the file. You remember I showed you at the time. Suppose Rajesh, I want to open the etc cast passwd. What I did a cat command etc/etc passwd passwd and say enter. See, I displayed the content of the file with the help of a cat command. So cat command is usually used by all the engineers to only display the content of the file. Of course, that command can be used even for creating a file. I'm not saying that you can't create, but I'm saying that in a practice they don't actually do it actually. They create the file either using the touch command or the VA command. These are two important options which they use. Touch, let me cut this here and keep it next to the touch so that you will understand, okay? Right? Okay, and we use this greater symbol also, and we don't use more gedit. All these things are not really used much in practice, but yeah, this command do exist and you can create the files. So touch command you already saw in yesterday's class also that we use it actually. VI editors, we will soon come into the VI editor, guys, where I'll start creating files by using VI editor command or just a Vim or just a VI command. I can create it. Similarly, you can even use a greater sign. For example, I can take here some names I'll take the Krishna name. I'll just say greater than KRISHNA, Krishna, and say enter. I say ls. Can you see Krishna file is got created? So you can create with the cat command. Can I do Rajesh? Cat double is then. Yeah, can I what are the other names you have in our group? Dipali is there, or else I use Ganesh or whatever. Like I will take some name. Ganesh. Enter. So when you give a double greater than Ganesh, it is asking you to give some inputs. I'll just say hi. Enter. I'll just say control D and say ls. Can you see here? Ganesh has been created. When I do a cat to the Ganesh, you're displaying the content of that file. So it is showing us a hi. So just now I give an input, right? This input hi has got saved into this Ganesh file, and you're able to display the file with help of a. So you can use cat, and of course you can even use a echo command also. Echo is also one of the command to create a file. Actually. Echo also is there. There are many commands are there, guys. If I ask you, there are more than some 10 commands are there to create a file actually. Now, so whenever we want to create this file, whenever we create this file, So whenever we create this file, guys, so I create this Ganesh file, okay, by using this one by using the cat command. I use touch command to create this Alice file, Alice file, Bob file, and all. I create this file. So guys, whenever you create the files, so normal files, usually what happen, right? Every file in Linux has three timestamps. Three timestamps. Every file will have a timestamps, right? Right. Access time, modify time, and change time. This is we call these three are we call it as a timestamps. Actually, every file will have these three times. It could be directory, it could be hard link, it could be soft link, it could be pipe, it could be socket, it could be carrier device, block device. Well, you take any types of files, all these files types will have this three timestamps we have. Okay, it means that every file is associated with the access time. When was the file last accessed? That's the date and time it has. When was the file last modified? Or when was the file last changed? These are three different timestamps where each and every file has. As soon as you create a file, this three timestamp will also come along with that file. Now, how do you display all those three timestamps? Suppose, for example, if I take Alice, right? If I take Alice, how I can check it? You can execute a command stat command and say Alice. Enter. Can you see here? You got these three timestamps: access time, modified time, change time, birth and all when it was got created. That it is showing. Okay. It has many other information also, like what type of file it is. Alice is an empty. It's a regular empty file. Yeah. Okay, it is a size is zero. It means it doesn't have any content. It's a normal file. How number of blocks allocated? Zero. What is the IO block allocated for it? 406 IO cloud. What is the hard link? It has only one. What is an inode number? What is the device identifier? And these three access timestamps or these timestamps. So many information about your file you get with the help of a stat command. Similarly, Mahesh is a folder. Let us see stat Mahesh. Enter. See, stat will give you the statistical information. So you could see that in under the case of links, it is showing that there are two links are there. Okay, fine. What is an inode number? We will discuss now very soon. Mahesh is a folder and it's a directory. User ID, group ID. Here also you have user ID, group ID. Here also you have a permissions. This is the permission and this is the permission. 664 is a permission given for a normal file. 775 is a permission which is given for a folders or a directory. And these three timestamp: access time, modify time, and change time. All information about a file or a folder or a directory, whatever you say, you can get with the help of a stat command. Is it fine, guys? Okay. You can even run a file command onto that, mentioning about what type of. So Ganesh is there. If I execute a command, file command, and say Ganesh, see, it's an ASCII text file, it says actually. It's an ASCII text file. Now, suppose I want to give a permission, an execute permission to your Ganesh file. See, if I do a chmod, don't worry about now, chmod command plus X and give Ganesh, enter. And if you do ls, can you see Ganesh file turned into something like a green color? So this has an execute permission. If I run a file on Ganesh, check it out, still it is an ASCII file only. But what happened? The color has changed. So as soon as you see this color, which is in a green color, what an end user will understand, oh, this file is an executable file. Oh, it has the execute permission. So how I gave the execute permission? With the help of a chmod command, chmod plus X. Don't worry, guys. We'll have elaborate one or two sessions only on permission, user management and its permission management. That topic itself we have, where we will try to learn in detail about what these permissions all are about. But today timing, what you have to understand that whenever a file will get an execute permission, it will turn into the green color. It means that it becomes an executable kind of a file. Is it fine, guys? Okay. Now, so I thought I will cover all these things, guys, but I think let us give a break because if you want, I can continue, or if you want to wind up, we'll wind up now, and again we'll meet up today evening so that I will continue from here itself. from this normal file itself, and then we'll discuss all these things, and then we'll get into the commands actually, right? Because commands are very important. We have to start learning the commands. Every day you have to learn something and you have to execute it. And as I said again, I'm saying, guys, please have your AWS account. If suppose somebody doesn't have it, please ping me and tell that Rajesh, please come online so that please help me out to create an account so that I'll start practicing system. Don't hesitate, guys. Don't even feel shyness about anything. There's nothing like a shyness. There should not be any shyness in asking anything. Please don't think that what Rajesh will think, whether I know it or you might be 20 years, 25 years experience, guys. It's the same thing. We all are students, we are all learners. Never ever shy from anything learning. Don't even feel like, okay, I'm having so much experience. If I say that I don't know this much. See, I met when I was in HP, I don't want to take the name of the person. I met one architect who came actually, who didn't even know MKDR command, who don't know how to create a directory in Linux. I met such people also, who is an so-called architect, but I was really not like shocked. It was not like shock for me, but I was just thinking what he was doing from so many years, right? So I don't feel bad anything that, okay, I don't judge any person with the knowledge actually. So knowledge is something you can gain anytime. You cannot judge. You have okay, so I never judge any person with help of with terms of knowledge. Knowledge can be gained at any point of time. So I always judge a person with help of, with his nature and with his character actually. So guys, in that way, what happened? I'll be more helpful for a person who comes forward and said, Rajesh, I don't know this. Please help me out. I'll be more happy actually. So please open your mouth and start asking me if you have any questions or if you have any concerns. So if no, if some of you doesn't have an account, you feel how to create an account. I don't know how to create an account, or else I have to do it everything. Please tell me. I will give a separate time for you. Come online. We'll sit and we'll try to complete the task of creating the account. And once you get an account, guys, you will be able to create a servers and you'll be able to log into the machine. Then only that is a stepping stone. If you don't log into the server, you don't do it, then there's no point in discussing, listening to all this class because you need to practice now. Now you have to give your own time now to learn all the things, right? So Rajesh never became such good in Linux just by discussing. I became more by practicing more, guys. So please, it's a humble request again that if some of you have not created an account, no problem, don't worry. Please create an account today or tomorrow or whenever it is feasible and start practicing at the very faster pace. You have to start practicing from now onwards. Time is going, time is slipping from our hand. You have to start practicing. Okay. So guys, with that, we will stop the session. So let me know if you have any doubt, any kind of doubts so far. No? Sure. Thank you then. So let me stop the recording, guys.